So today I'm going to show you how to wash your fruits and vegetables, and I've picked several ways. That's the reason for all of this. First way is baking soda. It says a half a bowl of water with a teaspoon of baking soda, which I just added. Now, baking soda will break down some of the pesticides. Okay, I know a lot of you buy organic. Sometimes you can't because they don't have what you want, or you can't afford it, or whatever. I look at it like this. A lady told me once, I do a food co-op in Tehachapi. I'm the coordinator for. And she came to me and she said, guess what? I got invited to a growers meeting. I said, a growers meeting for what? She said, well, it's all the different growers in the Bakersfield area, Kern County area. And I said, okay. I said, let me know how that turns out. Well, she came back and she told me, she said, one of the men, one of the farmers took her aside and said, you know, they were talking about a lot of organic stuff and the sprays and stuff. She said, yeah, I didn't understand what that means. And he told her, he said, even though you're organic, they're still putting sprays of pesticides on your fruits and vegetables. If they didn't, we wouldn't have any fruit and vegetables to sell because the bugs would eat them up. So they still put them on there, even though they're organic, but they're not doing as much. So it's so many parts per million compared to what your regular vegetables are. So what's the difference? Not much. But I have been washing my fruits and vegetables in my solution for over 40 years now. I started when my husband was in school, and when I started doing that, it was because I was listening to a natural program that was on the radio on KFI, was it? Down in LA, because that's where he was going to school. And they had some naturalists that would come on about once a month, and she talked about a solution she used, which I will show you. And I cannot believe the stuff you get off of your fruits and vegetables. So I'm going to try and show you a little bit about that, and then you can come up and see it in the water, okay? So the first one's baking soda. This is what the Google says. If you go onto Google, it says to do baking soda. 1 teaspoon of baking soda to a half a bowl of water. So we're going to put some vegetables, and we're going to see how it works. Okay, we'll do that one. Now this one is vinegar, and I believe it says apple cider or white vinegar. 2 cups, what does it say? Two cups of vinegar for every 2 cups of water. And this is not going to open. I thought I had it opened. Stephen, can I get you to open this for me, please? And then it says to add in a teaspoon of baking soda also. What? Okay. Yeah. It said it didn't matter either way. Now, I'm using apple cider because I am gluten-free. Regular vinegar is not gluten-free, and I didn't want to break out with a rash or anything. I could use rice vinegar, but that's a little harder to find, so I didn't do that. I actually had some in the cupboard, but I waited too long to use it, and it went bad. So anyways, this says a cup. And I'm going to put a little bit more because I've got more than 2 cups of water in there. And put another thing of baking soda. Okay, we're going to put that in there. And then it says to let it soak for about 5 minutes, each one of these. Mix that up. Now, it does say that vinegar kills 98% of bacteria. And you could do a white vinegar, 1 part of white vinegar, 3 parts of water, soak for 2 minutes. Will clean some of the pesticides off. So there's that. One that I've always used is a third cup of lemon juice, and I'm just going to squeeze some in there, and then about 2 tablespoons of salt, and I use sea salt. Now,
How much salt?
pardon?
How much salt?
2 tablespoons.
Does it have to be sea salt?
Sea salt, yeah. Now, you can use Morton's. Morton's likes, the salt box you get at the grocery store, Morton's salt. You can do that, but it's got silica and a few other things in it. If you use a salt that's more pure, you're better off with that. Some salts will even add sugar, so you have to be careful what you're getting when you buy your salt. Look at it and see what the ingredients are. You can go to Winco. How many of you know what Winco is, right? And they have the bulk foods. And you can get salt for like 17, 18 cents a pound. And it's sea salt, and there's nothing to it. So that's a good way of buying it also. This one, I'm going to put in a head of lettuce. Lucy, I hate to ask you this, but could you get me a knife to cut the bottom out, the heart? Sure. Or you can go do it for me. Thank you. Okay, the last one is alkaline water. Now, I was talking to Dr. Kubo. He's a doctor here at our church, and he does a lot of cooking schools and whatnot. And he had said that he uses only alkaline water. He doesn't use anything else, and it does well. And I read on Google that alkaline water will break down the pesticides. So that's one thing to consider also. And this is stronger than I am. Let me open that one up.
Yeah,
Okay.
just remove the outside.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, when you do a head of lettuce, you want to splay it. Don't take the leaves off, splay it. That means to open it up a bit, okay? And then just put it into the solution. And then just let it soak for a few minutes.
Sorry.
It's okay, thank you.
Want me to throw away the others outside?
No, it's fine. So this is just alkaline water I'm using right here. Now, usually I will use my sink at home, and I clean the sink real well, and then I fill it half full of water. Just use tepid water, cool water. It doesn't have to be hot or anything like that. Just tepid water is fine. Let me see, I've got baking soda, vinegar, water, okay, spray. I'll take this one over here. Now, I have Lassen's used to carry one that was called BioClean. It comes in a tall bottle. I use it at home for washing fruits and vegetables, mainly just fruits. And I can put a drop on a piece of fruit. It's like a soap suds. It's using lime and grapefruit juice. And you put that on there, and then you let it sit for 2 minutes. Then you rinse it off, and it's taken off all of this. One time I did that with a lemon, because I drink lemon juice every morning, a fresh lemon. And when I did, I put it up on the counter, and I came back a few minutes later. I couldn't believe it, the dirt that had came off this lemon. It didn't look dirty to me. It was fine, but it really takes it off. Now, I would have brought the BioClean, but I didn't have it. I went to Lassen's, and they're not selling it right now. You can get it on the internet if you want BioClean. There's other ones out there. This is another one. It's called Ecos. And Ecos is one also. Now you can spray just a piece of fruit, or you can pour this into the bowl, and it will also do the same thing. There are many of them out there. There's probably, I can name off 5 or 6 of them that are out there. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in here. And we're going to put some more lettuce in there. What did she do with it? Oh, I needed that lettuce. I'm sorry. No, it's fine. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm going to add some over here too. And then we could come up and look and see what's really coming off of these vegetables, because these are not organics, these are just regular vegetables. And I want you take a paper towel when you come up, and I want you to feel the water, wipe your hands in between. Just putting this in right now, it's a slime I'm feeling. This is taking off a pesticide, and this one is just baking soda. You can feel that slime. This is not normal. This is not something you would normally get, mainly because it's a pesticide on there, and you can feel it. All right, this one, you can see, if you want to come up and look, you can. Huh? The one I think does is the one I use, and that's lemon juice and salt. But when I put into Google about using lemon juice and salt, they said no. But then again, we have to remember, in social media and whatnot, who's paying the bill? Who is supplying the information? Okay, maybe the lemon boards and the salt boards aren't paying enough into the information they're giving, so they're not going to use that one. You understand what I mean? It's like the dairy boards. They do the same kind of thing, the meat boards, all of that. So the next one is a tamale pie recipe. I'll tell you where I got it from. My grandmother was pure Texan. She was a German, pure German. Her family moved into Texas. When she married my grandfather, who was Scotch, Irish, that kind of thing. And he was a storekeeper. And he moved into a Mexican town, which is called Fillmore. It's up 126 north of us. And he had a great big new and used secondhand store. Their next door neighbor was Mexican. She befriended my grandmother, and she said, "You don't know anything about Mexican cooking, do you, or Spanish cooking?" And my grandmother said, no, she had not a clue. She says, "Well, you're living in a Mexican town, you need to know." So she said, "I'm going to teach you a few things." So she did. This is a recipe handed down from her. This recipe is a tamale pie. And it does not use cornmeal like 99% of them does. This one uses tortillas. You have the recipe in front of you. So we start with some enchilada sauce. Now the enchilada sauce, as I grow old, I can't take as much spice. And even though it's mild, I just can't take the pure enchilada sauce. So I cut it with tomato sauce. So this one's cut with tomato sauce. If you don't like that and you want to use the full enchilada sauce, go for it. But we are told by Ellen White, she tells us not to use hot, spicy foods. It's not good for us. It burns the lining of our stomachs. And that's when we start having digestive problems. So it's a good idea not to be so hot and so spicy, and a lot of chilies and peppers and things like that. So anyways, we start with the enchilada sauce. It's already got tomato sauce in it. What I did is I took a large can of enchilada sauce. That's the great big, I think it's 16-ounce can. And then I put in 2 of the 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce into it. So that gives you an idea. So we'll start putting the sauce on the bottom. And you're going to be tasting this soon. And then we'll bring in the burger. Now the burger is made from TVP. You can get this at Winco. Over there in their bulk foods, you can get TVP. It's textured vitamin protein. It's made from soy. It's freeze-dried. You add water to it, it puffs it up, it makes it taste, it's better. It's bland, as bland can be. But what I do is I season it. Yes?
What is it made of?
TVP, made from textured vitamin protein. Vegetable, I'm sorry, textured vegetable protein. I always get backwards. Anyways.
It's already prepared?
Pardon?
It's already prepared?
No, you just re-dehydrate it with water. Then what I do is I take about, let me see, I got to take this off the top of my head because I do it just because. Take about, let's say 2 cups of TVP to about 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Then add a little bit of salt to it, maybe a teaspoon or half a teaspoon, whichever. And then add something that's called kitchen bouquet. And you can find it at the grocery store, and I'll tell you where it is. And also I add some McKay's beef seasoning, which is a seasoning that is not beef. It's an unbeef. It's just a brown seasoning to help the foods taste better, okay? So it's what we use usually for like a beef-like flavor. It's not gonna be beef. Believe me, if you're still eating meat, it won't taste like beef. But anyways, it's palatable, you do get used to it. But you can get the kitchen bouquet. It's in the condiments where A1 sauce is. You'll find it there, right next to it. And it's just, you know how they, when you go to cook a roast and you've put your vegetables around the roast and it cooks, then when you go to take that out of the pot, you have this brownish color on the bottom. That's the cooking down of the vegetables. That's what they've done with Kitchen Bouquet. It's the vegetables that they've cooked down, and it's a seasoning so that they're using, it's stronger, so then it's in a liquid form and you can use it that way, okay? You can make your own if you need to or want to. Anyways, so I seasoned the burger that way. You can find it on my videos if you go to the church website. Put in, what is the website? Bakersfield Hillcrest? Okay, Hillcrest Adventist Faith.org. On the sidebar, you will see a bunch of little bars going down. It's green. You want to go down to Practical Vegetarian Cooking. I have some videos on there, and I talk about taco burger. That's what this is. And I also seasoned it with some cumin also, and onion powder, okay? But you can find that on that website.
Where do you store you find this in?
Pardon?
What store do you find this in?
You can get it at most any grocery store. The TVP, you can only find it. Winco, you can find it on Amazon also. Okay, after I put in the burger, I put in a little bit of onions. Yes? No? And these are just fresh cut. We're not sauteing them or anything like that. And then I put in some olives. You can chop your olives. I have a son, he thinks they need to be chopped. I just break them up with my hand. And then add a little bit of cheese. Now this cheese is a vegan cheese, and they have a yellow and they have a white, and the white's supposed to be mozzarella, it's not. It's just a vegan cheese. And what a vegan cheese is made out of? They use potatoes and carrots and things like that to make cheeses. And then you just want to layer in your tortilla chips on top of it. Or not really chips, it's tortillas cut into fourths. You just want to lay it around. Pardon? Yes. This is Follow Your Heart. Now I get mine in bulk from Azure Standard, which is the food co-op that I do. but you can find it at Lassen's and packages and blocks usually, and it works well. It's what I usually use for everything. And then I just add in more of the sauce. And you just continue that way until you've finished filling up your dish. So, I should have put my apron on. Hope I don't get anything on me. If you want to come and see what it looks like, be my guest.
Do layers like that?
Just continue doing layers. It's like an enchilada, yeah, very much like an enchilada. They actually should call it enchilada pie. Now this is a quick one that you can do. It's not very hard. It's, I can do this if I've got an hour. I can get this done, put it in the oven, and have it cooked and ready within an hour. And usually with vegan cooking, even vegetarian cooking, it usually takes, it takes a little bit longer. But it's mostly the preparation to get it where you want to be. So, cutting things up or whatever. But, and I know, I used to cook meat when I was a kid. Like I said before, in my other cooking school, my dad bought a side of beef every year, and that was our meals. We used beef all the time. And I cooked roasts and things like that. But when I went vegan, I stopped all of that, and it's a whole different ball game. But it's not a bad one, actually. That's why I'm still alive, is because of the diet. This is what I have is a birth defect that ran in my dad's side of the family, and it's not something I wanted. But I only knew about it about 8 years ago it showed up. I knew I had something, but I couldn't get a doctor to tell me what it was. And every time I went to the doctor, they'd look at me and say, I don't want you for a patient because you're going to die. And I said, but I'm not dying. I just like to know what's wrong with me, and nobody would tell me. And it took me years to find someone with a lot of prayer, and finally God allowed me to find out what this is about. And so the doctor looked at me and he said, the only reason why you're alive is because of the diet. And I said, and the grace of God. So, and that's true. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here. So anyways, you want to cook this at about 350. And when it starts to bubble up a little bit, then you know it's done. And that's it for that one. We're done. All right, I'm going to show you how to do the cheese. I used this morning. This is just condensation from the water I dumped out of it. Anyways, this is not my favorite blender, but this is what I have. So this is what we're using. So first off, I need my recipe. That I don't have. Okay. Like I said, the cheese, I'm having to double it because of the pimentos. Is a 4-ounce jar instead of a 2. Anyways, you want to be careful when you get your pimentos. There is a brand out there, and it has a picture of a soldier, like from Spain or something like that, and they're not very good. I can't remember the name of them, but they're not very good. It's usually Wenco that sells them. So this is a different kind. But the pimentos, you want them to where they're soft enough and they're going to blend. The other ones didn't. So we're going to start with 2 cups of cashews. Now let me explain on nuts. Go to my website, please, on the church website. Look up Practical Vegetarian Cooking. It's there. I'm also on YouTube. It'll send you right to YouTube. So I'm there. Listen to me when I talk about the nuts. I haven't done a demonstration of nuts. I've just told about it, but I will tell you a little bit more. I'm going to do the demonstration. We are going to film it. I quit filming a few years ago because I broke my wrist, and I just haven't gotten back to it. Anyways, when you get your nuts, you can go to Trader Joe's. You can go to Costco and Sam's Club, have nuts. Now, for cashews, you need to go to Trader Joe's. Lassen's also has them. They're going to be expensive there. But Trader Joe's has cashews. Sam's Club and Costco do not carry cashews. Cashews have an amazing ability to thicken as you cook it. So you can use cashews and it will actually thicken up. Now, when you do your nuts, the reason why we do this is because birds can eat just out there foraging, right? They find nuts, they break them, they eat them, right? Okay, we're not birds. We don't forage like that. The nuts will not metabolize in your system if you do not, for lack of a better term, roast them, okay? And I'm not saying roast with oils or anything like that. So for cashews, it takes 4 hours for them to soak in water. You just put the nuts into a bowl, fill the bowl until, it's like maybe 2 inches above the cashews, and then let them soak for 4 hours. They're a softer nut, they don't take as long. If you're doing walnuts or pecans, it's going to take 6 to 8 hours, and and you want to be able to let them soak. Now, after you've let them soak, then you want to drain them, rinse them off, take a cookie sheet and do this. Go to Walmart, get parchment paper, it doesn't matter. Get parchment paper, use parchment paper, or you're going to be scrubbing your cookie sheet. I did that before I realized what parchment paper was about. Get parchment paper, put it on your cookie sheet, and pour the nuts on there in a single layer, okay? Single layer. Put it into the oven at about 275, 250, somewhere in there. Let it just bake for about an hour and a half. Then you want to take them out, turn them over with a spatula, put them back and spread them out, put them back in the oven, cook for another hour and a half or so. How do you know when they're done? Take a piece of the nut and pop it just break it in half. If you can hear a snap, they're done. That's all you need. Now, one time I let the nuts stay in the oven too long. I went to bed. I forgot they were in the oven. I didn't think about it. And I got up in the morning and I had some nice brown nuts. They had the toastiest flavor to them, and I only used that in some things because I didn't want toasted nuts and everything. But they're not bad. I even took salt water and sprayed over them. We ate them that way too. That was good. So you can do that. Yes.
Now when you have each turning,
Pardon?
when you turn the nuts, after you bake them for an hour and a half, and then you turn them and cook them again for another hour.
At least. You'll know when they snap. When you can hear the snap, you know they're done. If it takes more than that, it takes more than that. Everybody has, their ovens are different. They in degrees, it'll change here and there. So don't worry about it. Anyways, after you take them out, let them cool just a little bit. And then get one of those gallon bags that you can get from, the gallon Ziploc bags. Put the nuts in there and throw them in your freezer. They don't go rancid. They stay nice and crisp, and you can always just pull them out and use them. That's how you do nuts, because we need to roast them because we cannot metabolize them. We don't get the nutrients from them until they've been cooked a little bit. It also will cook off any molds or anything like that you may have, because nuts will do that sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 cups of cashews. Now, whenever you measure your nuts, make sure they're mounded. So 1 cup, don't make it flat, make it mounded, because those nuts don't all pack in there. So you want to kind of mound it a little bit. That's how you measure nuts, okay? Oh, that's okay, just a little bit. I'll tell you when.
Good.
That's enough for right now, and then you can do it again in a minute. Okay. Get it right. Thank you. When you're doing your nuts, always never put in a full amount of water. You only want to put a little bit at a time, because your blender will not chew them up. So you want to be able to push this down. And then you can add more water. Now this calls for a cup of water. I'm doubling, so it's 2 cups. I'm pouring in a little bit more now. Okay, then we're going to add in our seasonings. So we got the paprika, we've got lemon juice, salt, garlic, and some onion powder. And I'll do the pimentos at the same time. Stephen? Stephen? Come on. Okay, when you're doing your nuts, try to make sure that they're getting very smooth. You don't want a grainy sauce. You want to try and make it as smooth as you can. I'm in the process of getting a better blender. I hope soon. I want to get a Vitamix. I had a Bosch, but the Bosch company started having their motors built in China, and that doesn't work. They don't last very long. So I'm in the process of changing over. Okay, so this is cooked. Can you roll out a paper towel for me, please?
What do you need? You want me to unplug this?
No, just over there.
Oh,
No, no, no. Just a paper towel. That's it. Good, thank you. If I was at home, I would spend more time cleaning that off, but I'm not at home, so. Just pour that in.
Do you need the pimiento? You don't need the pimiento.
I don't need that either. You hear it?
Yeah, sure.
Break your skin open. Okay, we're going to put this on a medium heat and then just let it cook a little bit until it starts to thicken. Now, another thing you can do to this, like I said, I added the nutritional yeast to it. And then another thing I thought about too, if nacho cheese, you could also take a can of, or take a mild chilies and add that to it would be nice. A lot of times they serve nacho cheeses with a chili pepper, like usually jalapeno. I don't use those. Okay, see now it's very, very thin, and with the cashews it will start thickening up. Now if you want to make this and you have some left over, you put it in the refrigerator, the next day you want to use it and it's too thick, add some water and just stir it and cook it on the stove and it works well, okay?
So how many of you have had chia pudding? Great. Thank you. It's like I started making chia pudding like over 10 years ago, bringing it to potlucks, dozens of them, you know. Chia pudding, have you seen chia seeds before they are pudding, right? Here's chia. They're very tiny seeds. They're called mighty seeds because they have complete amino acids, complete protein. They're one of the few seeds that all the essential amino acids that your body needs are contained in these little seeds. And this is really an easy recipe. No cook, no blending, just mixing it. So chia seeds is known to be high in omega-3, antioxidant, and you probably guys have heard that it can control your blood pressure, reduce it, as well as your diabetes, and it has high in antioxidant polyphenols. So this is an excellent, what you have right now, the pudding, can be used for your dessert, for breakfast, and whenever you want to snack on something low calorie, I recommend chia pudding. Chia. And if you notice, add-on to your chias are one of the most nutritious fruit, blueberries. They say if you eat a cup of blueberries a day, it will slow down your aging. Go for it. Yes, because it reduces the bad chemical radicals, you know, that we are exposed to. Our own body sometimes produces a lot of cholesterol. So the chia with the blueberries, they will fight off these radicals. And add to your, we top your chia with mangoes, and mangoes is very high in vitamin C, and see this yellow, what is it? Yellow food, what are they good for? For the eye, right? So that's vitamin A. Vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin E. So this is really a very wholesome recipe and food. I already pre-mixed here. If you're taking it to work, or if the next day something for you to eat on the go, the night before you can prepare your chia. It's recommended, like, the recommended daily amount is anywhere from 2 tablespoons to 5 tablespoons. But so you don't want to, you don't want it over 5 tablespoons, because even it's a good thing, too much of it, because it absorbs a lot of fluids, right? So when you, I don't know if you've ever fixed chia pudding, 2 tablespoons of chia calls for half cup of liquid. This one is a combination of 1/4 almond milk and 1/4 coconut milk. And you just add 2 tablespoons while you're getting ready. You can also do this first thing in the morning. You just add 2 tablespoons. And I use vanilla, just 1/8 teaspoon vanilla, that's non-alcoholic vanilla. Have you heard of Ceylon cinnamon? This is the true cinnamon. There's other variety of cinnamon. You have Saigon cinnamon, Kurrenthe cinnamon. You want to make sure you use Ceylon cinnamon because it can cause irritation in your stomach. If you use Kurrenthe and Saigon. So less irritating is Ceylon. It hardly irritates your gastrointestinal area. So this is what is, how cinnamon is supposed to be good for us. It's good for blood pressure, it's good for blood sugar, but you want to make sure you use Ceylon. So you just add 1/8 teaspoon of this. And I also have cardamom, just a pinch of it. So you just mix this all together. Within 15 minutes, it should be done. For the fruit, sometimes if you want to add blueberry and raspberry, you go for it. Or you can even top it with kiwi slices. Does that sound good? Yeah. So there's a lot of options. For me, what I do, in the morning, I would add my almond milk with the chia, 2 tablespoons, and then I mix it in with my granola. My husband can tell you, I make my granola, my own granola, but it's personally, I like it, but some may not like it because it is sugar-free, oil-free. I just add all these seeds, pumpkin, and nuts, and I add the chia. It gives it, because you know how there's a gelatin-like flavor, texture to this. So you just combine your granola with the chia, top it with fruit that you like. As you know, it's recommended we should have 5 different fruits and vegetables. So you're adding even papaya. Oh, papaya. I love papaya with my chia or granola. It's awesome. It's not like no papaya here can compare to the papaya when you're in Mexico. If you buy in the grocery store here, it's a different, it's not so fresh. It's a little tougher. It's not as sweet, but it's better than nothing, right? So, sometimes if you leave it overnight, your chia will absorb all the liquid. And you can just add more almond milk. And with the topping, actually, the chia pudding, you can also add some shredded coconut. Yes. So that's all you need, you do. You just mix it, and in 15 minutes, it will gel up. That you can add to your cereal, to your granola, like I said, snack on it later, or take it to work. Just put it in this kind of bottle container. You can also add walnuts. Sumin is very versatile. You can make it better with other, like, hey, Adina. Sorry. So this chia seeds is one of God's creation that is really very healthy for us. And chia can also be added with your bread, banana bread, and it's tasteless, so it will add the nutrients, the omega-3 you need, without interfering with the taste of bread, cake, whatever. Do you guys have any question? Okay. So if you can see this is all mixed, and so there's like 12 more minutes. It will thicken like your chia that you have there. And the mango I use is I call this Manila mango, but they name it something else. This Manila mango originally started from the Philippines, and then they wanted to patent it. And Philippines sued through the international business, so Mexico has to name it Ataulfo. How do you say that? Ataulfo? There you go. Okay, thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions about anything?
I keep mine, usually it's gone overnight. Overnight is best. But if I know chia, I don't know if you've seen it in the store, like Whole Foods, they would sell chia pudding to go. And I'm sure they've kept them for a week, as long as it's totally sealed off. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, you can also if you want to do overnight, you can add some rolled oats to it. Keep it, overnight. In the morning, you have breakfast ready to go. And if you, like during winter time, if you want it warm it up a minute in microwave. You're ready, just top it with all your beautiful topping fruits. Okay, anything else? I'm so glad that Dina made it. Oh, thank you.
If no one has any questions, that will conclude our cooking school. And if we can bow our heads for prayer, please. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us together. Thank you for this time that we've had together and learning more about how our diets need to be. We pray, Lord, that you be with each one of us, guide us throughout each day. We ask, Lord, that you will bring to mind all of the things we've learned so that we can have a better constitution of our bodies. We thank you for being with us. In Jesus' name, amen.